So, this wizard tower, it was giving me a little bit of trouble before, but now I've decided that I want to go ahead and restart it. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing open, because I'm just not really vibing with the top and bottom of this. Next is just peel it bare so that I have a fresh canvas to work on. And I start getting rid of its legs in the most sloppy way that I possibly can. This looks awful. Using that, I can go ahead and start drawing off what I imagine would be like a door, some windows, and anything else I might need, but I'm pretty sure I give up with just that. Absolutely forget to record that you actually cut these, and just cut to the part where you are tearing them apart. I really want a floor for this, for the top area. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out a circle. I'm drawing out a little bit of an outline just because I don't trust myself to be able to see where that little circle is when I cut it. I'm obstructing absolutely everything here with that little fence, but I'm just trying to cut out roughly the width of the building itself, a little bit more. You can tell I didn't think this through because you can see that I'm about to hit my monitor right here. This is exactly where I run out of space and I start panicking, so I just pull it off to the side. But using that, I just cut off roughly the same size kind of squares to make a rough square out of all of it. These little parts here are meant to be the walls of the upper floor here. Now, using those pieces that I just put together, I'm going to go ahead and try to cut out the walls by cutting around it and then cutting inside of that ring. And I am just absolutely going to boof it. Look at this awful cut. I am spinning it. I am moving the thing. I didn't tape it down properly. It's just going off the wazoo. And I didn't really... I don't know what I'm doing with the wire so much, but you can see how much the wire is dragging around there. It's not staying as straight. I don't know what I'm doing. This is like my second time using this machine. And then from here, I'm going to try my best to go to that little black dot there on the purple and try to cut inside of it to the best of my ability. And you see I immediately mess it up and shift it in. But it turns out okay for the most part. And you're seeing that part of it is the wire is at an angle. I did try to make it at an angle so that these walls slightly puff out from the side of the wizard's tower. And you can see here, that was the wrong way, but over here you can see how it slightly flares out from the base here. It's at a slight angle. Alright, and you can see that at this point I have turned off the lights for whatever reason, but I'm now cutting off these really big blocks that I didn't record myself cutting, but I am trying my best here to go ahead and make a roof for everything now. And I'm just not getting that cut very well. I eventually do end up getting at the end, but you see that giant little spike there, and also I missed the opening there. You can see that it's getting smaller and smaller, and I'm just freaking out, so I eject immediately. And you can see how everything kind of stacks up together once you put it all. There's a little open space there for minis to fit in, and then this roof that's made out of these blocks. I could have made those hollow too if I trusted myself more, but I don't. Now with all the pieces, this is roughly what we're getting, this kind of rockety-esque shape. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it'll work. Now, I'm just getting some air dry clay because I couldn't really figure out how I could do this with baking at all, even though I do prefer the baking clay. And I'm just kind of layering this on kind of messy because the whole point is I want it to be kind of this like messy, rocky brick kind of deal. So I go ahead and just grab my little roller, and I'm just going to very roughly roll over this because I don't imagine that this is actually going to be very well maintained. I imagine there's a lot of dirt and stuff over it, so there will be patches where you don't really see the brick. After rolling everywhere and being mostly happy with it, I'm just going to start lining the doors with kind of more brick to give it a shape. It's kind of chunky in a way that I don't really like, but again, you know, just got to work with it. I do the same things with these little bricks at the top. I'm not really sure what these would add structurally, but it just adds the shape for me, so it's there. And then kind of from this point on, I am just kind of scratching in a few details and then kind of like pressing in different spots, going back over the roller a few times, etc. I didn't record this part because it was really me just testing foam clay, but you'll see that there's foam clay at the tip of this tower now, and I've also added foam clay to the edges there. So now I'm going to start just rolling the foam clay. I'm trying to make rims for this. I'm trying to make like a wood lining around it, but I'm not doing a great job with it. I'm just doing it with my hands, and it's a little bit kind of scuffed. I want kind of like this window with a, I don't even know what to call it, but just like this roofed window coming out of this tower. And so that's what I'm trying to build here. It's absolutely atrocious, but at least I can cover it up. This is definitely my least favorite part of the whole thing, was me trying to make this window and just not really having the ability to be able to do this. I bet that if I kind of like built that up and I cut it out a little bit more, maybe it could have been good, but I was a little bit lazy and I just laid this straight on. In an attempt to try to make this better, I use the same kind of pleated roofs that I had before, and I'm just cutting them out in these sections, these 4-piece sections, and I'm slowly rotating them across the entirety of this tower to try to cover up, a lot of these little mistakes. The main shape is there, which is the main point. And I would say that tower, you know, it fixed it a little bit. The pleats, the pleated little roof does help a lot. At this point, I have primed the thing in a gray paint and primer, and just getting to painting. At some point, I recorded this specific clip with slow-mo by accident. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how my controls work on my camera. But over here, I'm just kind of layering in what looks like ultramarine blue, magenta, and some white, and some Venetian red, just kind of all over the place to try to make this building kind of interesting. I'm just kind of layering in what looks like burnt umber just in a few spots here, just to try to give it a little bit of a dirtier tone to it. Throwing in my favorite Naples yellow just in random spots here. I think the top looks horrible, but just while that's drying and I can maybe add colors later, I start adding the colors to these walls. I'm thinking of them just being kind of like stone-ish walls with a little bit of yellow to it, so I go with Naples yellow. It's a little bit too bright to start with though. I start adding in what I believe might just be Venetian red and some burnt umber to make some of those like wood accents off the side. For the actual base, since it's supposed to be a stone building, I don't have to do as much work. I can use kind of the primer base to kind of do the heavy lifting here, but I'm just adding some kind of greens, around where I think it would be kind of mossy towards the bottom, towards the top, and I just kind of dirty up these stones a bit. A lot more work coming in from the burnt umber just to kind of make it again just dirty, like there's dirt covering up some of these stone bricks. Just throwing in, some white in there just to kind of brighten up a few of these spots on these stones. Now we finally cut back to just a scene of me actually normally painting this, and you see that it did dry up a lot darker. I think I did add a little bit more of these kind of like dark little bits to the rest of it, and in this clip I'm adding in what looks like just some sap green, maybe a little bit of burnt umber into these corners where I'm going to be adding grass. This is my attempt to kind of like fake shadows in some areas. I'm not doing a great job with it, but the whole idea at least is to add in just these dark lines, just to make some areas pop out a little bit better. I could have done that with a little bit more finesse though. Start throwing some grass on it. I have sprayed some glue here, and I am just throwing on some woodland scenics, just grass all over the place. I don't actually remember the name of these. I wrote them on the back, but I don't have it in front of me right now. Realized I didn't actually have any footage of what this thing looked like once it dried up. I just kind of ended right after I painted it. So here it is on my desk, and I'm just going absolutely shaky cam with this. I'm sorry about that, but it looks okay, I guess.